What's up everybody, Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Halo Infinite video. And in this video, we gotta talk about the cluster fire that was the new update, the Lone Wolves Season 2 update. Well, there's a lot of cool new changes and updates that were added. There are a lot of things that just feel like one step forward, 5 steps back, and we gotta break it down and talk about it. Now, I know that many of you have been grinding incredibly hard this spring to reach your all-time peak, but you're getting a little musty, and here to help is our returning Manscaped partnership. Now, Manscaped sent us an all-new package that includes things like the deodorant and body wash, and even this really fucking good lip balm. I'm serious. You can get the Performance Package 4.0 that comes with waterproof shavers and trimmers, everything you need from all-in-one shampoos, conditioners, to body washes, and more accessories like these. And here's the thing, I'm gonna be real with you guys for a second. It's super easy for you to just neglect your physical and mental health. As guys, it happens all too often. But really, if you're not physically feeling good, you're not gonna mentally feel good as well. And Manscaped has everything you need so that you're at the top of your game. Use code HALO at the Manscaped checkout for 20% off your order and free shipping. Go check it out right now in the links down below. With Halo Infinite, Lone Wolves has been in the waiting for a long time, right? A lot of people have been looking forward to it. We have been starved for content in Halo Infinite for the longest time, and we finally got Lone Wolves, and for the most part, it was really fun. There's a lot of interesting modes that are added. There's a lot of fun new ways to play the game, and the Battle Pass is way better than it was before. So it's really a lot of steps in the right direction, even if the content doesn't feel like it is going to keep us satiated for all that long, right? It's gonna keep us satiated for a while, but realistically, we need a lot more in Halo, especially the replayability of something like Forge. That would really help us along, but I'm not talking about the positives here, because there are a lot of negatives that happened. And one of the biggest things that happened that basically blew up the Halo Infinite Twitter is about the skill jumps. About a lot of the skill jumps where you could jump and crouch on top of boxes, you could get up on top of the control panels, and it was really skill intensive to not only master these jumps, but learn them and utilize them in combat. It was a big part of pro players, a big part of ranked play, and it was really fun that Halo had depth in this way, because if I'm being honest, when you compare Halo to a lot of other shooters, because there's no characters, there's no complex abilities, there's not a crazy amount of depth. It's more about repetition and mastery rather than it's about game knowledge and learning. There's not a lot to learn. The weapons are the same. There is very little abilities at all. It's not like there's classes. So as far as depth is concerned, it's rather low. But these skill jumps added an extra layer where you could learn a lot and you could learn more about other people. And that was something in Halo that I thought really helped further the skill ceiling in the game and the knowledge gap, which is something that is just really great for games because it rewards players for mastery and learning the game and practicing. And that's all good things. That's all great things for the game. Because if the game becomes way too easy and they just make it to where there's not a big difference between a really smart player that has played the game for a long time and a brand new player that has hardly played the game at all, then it just feels like just a mindless shooter at times. It can feel that way. I'm not saying Halo does, but in general, that's something that every game should try to avoid, is reducing the skill ceiling in the game. It's really good that there's a distinction between people that are great and people that are good and people that are bad, or people that learn and know and have high game sense and people that don't. But when 343 decided to remove these skill jumps, what they are effectively doing is reducing the skill ceiling in the game and reducing that knowledge gap. They say, hey, you know, having these skill jumps that you need to learn and practice that take some intricate knowledge to pull off, you know, that is too hard for a casual audience. That's why people aren't playing our game, because our game is too hard. Let's make it fucking easier. Absolutely not. If anything, in my opinion, there should be more intricacy. Like, imagine if way back when Super Smash Bros. Melee was getting really hype and popular, Nintendo just swooped in and is like, you know what, you can't wave dash anymore because fuck you. That's why. It's too hard for a casual person. Think about all the depth and intricacy, crazy tournaments, and esports that would have died there on the spot because of that decision. And I'm not saying that this is that bad, but in reality, this is just one step in the wrong direction in my opinion. The game should be pushing towards having more skill jumps, more movement tips, more momentum, more slide techs, which is another thing that they also nerfed in a big way. They should really embrace the game in a way that makes the game much more rewarding for the people that put in the work and practice and learn, rather than a mindless shooter that wants to hold your hand and take away anything that requires even a brain cell of thought in order to pull off, because it's going to be too hard for you. That's just ridiculous. It's so freaking dumb, and the majority of the community is just completely outraged and pissed off, and they hate the step. And even the person who has pioneered most of these jumps, Shyway, has said multiple things on Twitter about this, talking about how it's just a huge misstep in his mind. It's a really bad step in the wrong direction. And in addition to that, they actually have patched out a lot of these special techs that you can use to fly yourself around the map when you are actually playing campaign. Different techs and things that people have used to try to speed run the game of Halo Infinite for the campaign, having like speedrun time trials and things like that. They've removed a lot of that. So there was a sub community in your game that was actively doing this that you just basically deleted. And then in addition to that, the hardcore gamers, the pro gamers, or just people that want to get better and people who have learned and practiced some of these skill jumps, they're just deleted and you can't even do those anymore. I just really think that overall, big step in the wrong direction and really not the way in which I want Halo to move towards. Now, I know not all of you are going to agree with me. Many of you are going to be like, hey, I think that these should not exist. I don't really want to have to learn any of these skill jumps, and I think it's just better if I can just play the game and not get rolled by people who are using them. But I don't really think that these were broken to the point where someone who knows them is just going to easily be able to beat you. It's just something that is really cool because it adds layers to the game and it's useful in combat, but it also has a risk to reward ratio where if you try to do a difficult skill jump and mess it up, you're probably gonna die in a situation where you would have probably been a lot better off by not even attempting it. But if you pull it off, you actually get a huge advantage. And honestly, I really love that relationship. And I just think about the video that I made for y'all where I showcased this one jump where you literally have to slide to the bottom of the wall full speed, slam into the wall, and if you do it just right and you do the tech just right, you fly up the wall and you could pull off like a sick play. And I remember trying it 30, 40, 50 times and I only did it twice. I only pulled it off freaking twice, and then I go and watch a pro match and a pro player pulls it off in combat and pulls off a sick play with it, and I'm like, holy shit, that's insane, that's amazing. I had to put in all that effort, but obviously this pro has practiced it way more than me. He put in the work, he put in the hours, and it turned into something really cool to watch. So at the end of the day, one of the reasons that we're making a lot of noise about this is because it could still get reverted, and many believe it should, and I think it should, and I think it's a really important thing. But more importantly, this scares me a little bit about Halo. Not only is Halo already working on a potential sequel, 343 is, not only are they making a sub game in the Battle Royale with certain affinity, but this is a balanced decision that goes against a lot of what the community wants. And 343 has a bad track record of this, where people are like, hey, we want Red Reticle on PC. Nah, you know, you don't really want that. Hey, we want skill jumps back. You know what? Nah, you don't really want that. And it's like, we're screaming into the void of the developers that are responding only to tell us, you know what? You don't really want what you want. And that's frustrating to me. And I don't really think that that's a good direction for the future of the game. And even though they say, hey, Halo's a 5-year, 10-year game, it doesn't make me believe that it's a ship that I want to be on board if they are steering it in a direction where no one wants them to go. So it's a little frustrating. It's a little scary. And I'm hoping that Halo Infinite gets back on the right track. But definitely let me know what you feel about this and what you think about all this down below. And get yourself a Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 down below using our code HALO at the Manscaped checkout for 20% off your order and free shipping. Go check it out right now in the links down below.